Hi, Sweet Pea.
Hi, Mummy Bear.
How are you?
I'm good.
You're not.
Well, no, I'm not good because almost moving out, getting boxes and stuff.
You're a bit of an emotional wreck.
I am emotional.
So am I.
It's quite. It's awful to be honest.
It's just horrible. I feel like I'm losing a limb.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel like someone is slowly gnawing through my leg.
Oh.
So it's still attached, but
yeah.
just by sort of gristle and.
Oh, okay. That we don't need those details, but yes,
you're still attached by gristle, and then you're going to be completely detached.
Yes,
very shortly.
So next week when we have our recap podcast, I will be somewhere else.
You will.
I'll be off at uni.
We won't be doing it together anymore.
We won't be doing it together anymore.
But we'll still be doing it. And we're going to do it remotely.
Yeah.
And it'll be nice for us to have some little catches-ups. Although I have no doubt I'm going to get video calls non-stop through every single day as you update me on your latest achievement, or not even an achievement.
Yeah. I did the laundry.
I just made a cup of tea.
Very proud of myself. Very happy about that.
Just finished my cereal.
Yeah. Now having the milk.
That's what happens currently.
So. But you're going to have so many calls of like, Mummy, how do I do this? What do I do?
Oh,
it'll be like that. But so yeah, that's sad news, but
it's a rite of passage. It has to happen at some point, and we're going to just ease into this.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a boss.
Yeah, like a boss.
Two bosses.
On better news, and something that I think the gardening world needs to know, is that Taylor Swift has a new album. I feel like that is a crucial part of gardening. Taylor Swift has a new album, The Life of a Showgirl. It is very important. And also, it also happens to be in what I would call the gardening favourite colours, which is emerald green and orange.
Yes.
Which are two of my favourite colours to do with plants as well.
Yeah.
So
orange just generally in life, and then green because of the garden.
Yeah.
Yes. She's a dude.
She's a dude.
She's doing amazing things.
It's absolutely awesome. I really want to get the vinyl because it's this beautiful sparkly orange.
You can't play the vinyl.
No, because I do not have a record player, but it's just nice to look at.
That's good news.
That is the good news of the week.
That's what's just keeping your head above the surface. Yeah,
exactly. I'm not good. I'm going to be all right. Taylor Swift has a new album.
But otherwise, we've been really enjoying produce from the veggie garden. We're having entire meals made out of entirely stuff from our garden.
Yeah, you made the most amazing salad yesterday. What was it with?
Lots of different lettuce that I found underneath the stinging nettles.
Yes.
Some of our tomatoes.
Yeah.
Some of our plums.
Yes.
Some of our peas, some of our beans.
Yeah.
All went in.
Yeah.
Completely forgot to put the courgettes in.
I know.
I'm so used to not having any courgettes from last year.
Yes.
But this year I forget we've got a load that need eating.
And they're abundant. They're coming. So today I'm actually going to do a big harvest.
Good.
Of tomatoes, courgettes. Going to try and find a nice thing to do with courgettes.
Will you let me try courgette spaghetti on you again?
Oh my gosh, do not even try that on me.
It's been a long time though, and your taste buds have changed.
Nope.
Please.
Nope. Absolutely not. Unfortunately, that is one of my least favourite things.
You might like it. Anyway, we'll see. Do we have any housekeeping?
Yes.
Two things.
So, last time you talked about how Mr. Orange Guy is concreting over...
But Sweet Pea, that's your favourite colour. Why don't you love him?
Why did he have to choose orange? Can you have just gone, like, I don't know, blue, pink or purple or something like that? That would have been so much better. Anyway, so I was like, I thought I saw a kind of interesting fact about roses to do with the American presidents, and so that whole rose garden, which is a huge part of the White House actually, and the public have been really kind of all about keeping it looking in good standards, so everyone's kind of loved it. And so when Kennedy was president, his wife, the First Lady, Jacqueline Kennedy, her eye was drawn to this slightly kind of ill-kept state of the gardens which were surrounding the White House. And so she worked with Rachel Lambert Mellon on creating a really beautiful rose garden.
She was the garden designer, was she?
Yeah, I think they worked together to create this space.
Because they still need a space where they can have gatherings.
Yes.
So they couldn't just do what we would do, which is turn the whole thing into a meadow.
Yeah, exactly. They couldn't just do that.
So they made this beautiful sort of rectangular lawn with roses all around the edges, didn't they? And a path that runs right around.
Yeah, it's really rather beautiful. I really like it. And then on November 20th, 1986, Ronald Reagan, when he was president, he officially made the rose the national flower emblem of the United States of America.
Did he?
Yeah, because he loved the rose garden.
It's the English national flower.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, excuse me, lad, that's ours. Anyways, and he made this speech about it becoming the national emblem flower, standing in the famous White House rose garden. So he was a big lover of roses. Quite a few of the presidents of the USA were big lovers of gardening and the kind of garden that surrounded the White House. I mean, you would, if you're in the White House all the time and you're just looking out the window, seeing all these beautiful flowers, you're going to be like, okay.
Whilst you're pondering on life.
Exactly, about like politics and that kind of stuff.
That kind of stuff.
Ugh, yeah.
Politics.
I know, honestly. So I thought that was quite interesting.
It is interesting. It's just a shame that this latest one isn't into gardening.
Yes, it's very peculiar, but it didn't surprise me.
Possibly could solve a lot of problems if he was.
Yeah.
Might not be so angry all the time.
An orange. He might actually get a natural suntan.
Natural colour.
Well,
thanks for the update on the White House rose garden.
Yes.
There was also the question about those coconut husk pots that you had with your bonsai kit.
I did look them up. So a lot of the pots that have coconut husk in you could just put straight in the ground. They're biodegradable and it's really good for the roots. It means you're not kind of messing up the roots when you're trying to get it out of the pot and shove it into the ground. So it could be really, really good.
Yeah.
And it just degrades in the ground and boom, you kind of got a bit of mulch compost in there. A little bit out of nutrients.
Great stuff, and not a piece of plastic inside.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really, really great. I still couldn't quite find the exact ones which I have, because you can get ones which are quite solid. They're completely opaque.
Right.
Whereas mine are quite literally husky. They kind of, you can see the husk and the entire thing. Very fibrous and very solid, if you know what I mean. So they seem more like ones which would kind of wouldn't degrade so quickly,
right?
Whereas they're the ones which are opaque and look more like cardboard, to be honest, but which can contain mainly coconut husk. Those ones are very good, very biodegradable.
Great. So coconut husks are the way forward.
They are.
And also pineapple. I seem to remember reading that pineapple, either from the leaves, I think from the leaves, or maybe the skin of the pineapple, are very good for making a type of fabric.
A type of fabric. Anyway, well, that's interesting.
We'll have to look into that another time. Well, do you want some gardening news?
Yes, absolutely.
Or nature news. But first up, just a quick one. There's the Gardeners' World Fair. Which is on this August, 29th to the 31st of August. Well, they haven't mentioned it on the show, have they?
They didn't mention that whatsoever, but I'm not going to be here. So
no, this
can't
is true.
even try to get
good
there.
For you, but
yes,
we'll put a link on the website anyway.
I will be starting my Freshers Week.
Oh, sweet pea.
Yeah.
Right, here was an interesting thing I learnt this week. Germany's salt and air battery. I was about to say salt and pepper battery, but it's salt and air battery.
What?
So they're set to launch the world's first commercial-scale air battery system, which stores clean energy using compressed air in underground salt caverns. So unlike traditional lithium-ion batteries, this system uses no lithium or rare earth materials, making it more sustainable and geopolitically stable.
Very interesting.
Yeah, but what's also more interesting is the entire article is about it being in Germany, but it's actually an Israeli company that has come up with this idea.
Brilliant.
And they're using these salt caverns in Germany.
Salt caverns, wow. Didn't know that.
Rather interesting. It's a clean, durable and scalable solution over all the other issues we have over battery.
It's actually quite interesting.
You know, you think about cars, great idea, but the concern is what happens with the batteries.
Yeah, exactly.
Or my lawnmower kit that runs off those enormous lithium batteries. What happens to those? There's also concern of those exploding. You hear of some people who have them setting on fire.
What?
You know about this. That's why I keep them over in the far end. Away from us.
That is a good point. Very good point.
But you hear of people with their electric bikes just blowing up in the hallway.
Blowing up in the hallway.
And of course phones on flights, it's happened with them.
Really?
So it's good that there are alternatives being looked at and pursued, and things that are more sustainable.
I like that.
What's more sustainable than air? Salt, I don't know if we've got
a huge abundance of it.
Limitless supply of salt.
I'd say we could do, it's everywhere. Sure, it will be everywhere. But I think that's really cool. And also, I think we should a name we could go for is QI. I don't think that's been used anywhere else at all. I can't think of
Standing
anything.
for what, Sweet Pea?
Quite interesting.
Let me think.
I
Do you
really
think Sandy Toksvig might have an issue with that?
What? No.
Well, we'll keep with nature news for now.
Oh, okay.
Now, also, there's a mysterious rare butterfly that's been found in the Black Country, specifically in Dudley and Rowley Regis. And it's a rare butterfly.
Where is that?
That's Dudley. It's kind of West Midlands way.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That kind of, can you tell by my accent? That's like a Birmingham.
I really
Dudley.
don't know what to do with your accents half the time.
Dudley. Anyway, this butterfly has appeared, and they're now trying to piece together how this butterfly has occurred. It's called the large copper.
Oh.
And it's been spotted in Bumblehole Nature Reserve in Dudley and the adjoining Warrens Hall Nature Reserve in Rowley Regis. And basically it's kind of good news and bad news. So they think that they have been released by some butterfly enthusiast who's got the eggs from elsewhere, because they were completely extinct in the UK.
Yeah, it's quite weird just to suddenly boom.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably very good intentions behind it, but the thing is, butterfly groups are saying that there's a lot more to bringing a species back than just growing some and releasing them into the wild.
Yeah,
they need to go into the right environment, otherwise they're just going to die off again.
Either die off, or they could become a pest, or they could start eating other things, which then there are so many things. It's an equilibrium.
Yeah,
that absolutely. One has to create. It's like when, what was it? The cane toads that they had to introduce?
Yeah, in Australia.
In Australia, that's just always the one that I think about.
They introduced the cane toads to get rid of the cane beetle, which was eating all the sugar cane.
Yes.
And the cane toads had no natural predators, so then they took over.
Yeah.
So they became a massive pest to the extent that they would actively encourage people, if you're driving down the road and saw cane toads, they would...
to flatten them.
You'd recommend you try to drive over them.
You could just see the car in front just swerving all over the shot, just trying to get.
But you do see that. You see exactly
Seriously?
that often when you're driving along, when there's an influx of the cane toad.
Interesting.
And also, I remember when I was over there, they would have events in pubs, which was cane toad racing. So you would go and there would be some guy with a selection of cane toads. You would pick your cane toad and then they'd be raced down these kind of channels, and everyone would be standing around cheering on their cane toad, and money was exchanging hands. Obviously bets were made. So these poor cane toads are having quite a rough time in
Australia.
I feel
sorry for the cane toads. They're just like, geez mate, you introduced us and now you're trying to kill us. What's wrong with you?
What is wrong with you? But the other issue with the release of this large copper butterfly is that loads of butterfly enthusiasts are turning up in their hordes to try and get their possibly one and only ever photo of this thing. But there have also been some other species that activists have tried to reintroduce, which I was unaware of. So do you remember when you did your cassowary project?
Yeah, loved that project. I did a paper mache egg.
You did
cassowary egg.
A massive fluorescent green
because they are
egg. It's very bizarre, isn't it?
It's quite amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That colour can be naturally created. I thought it was just like the thing that you see in sweets and you're like, oh my god, that is E numbers.
Yeah, exactly. It just looks like it's got a pile of E numbers.
Yeah.
Also incredible, you would have thought that all eggs, you'd want to make them look as camouflaged as possible.
Yeah, not like, hello people, here is my egg, come and get it. Yes.
But do you remember how we looked up about how cassowaries are a keystone species?
Yes, because of the whole digesting of fruits, and the seed can only therefore kind of be stimulated by going through the passage of said cassowary out the other end.
That's it.
And onto the ground to go, I'm going to become a new plant.
Beautifully put.
Yes.
Exactly that. So keystone species are critical to keeping other species alive. So the cassowary is heading towards extinction, so there's quite a concern there.
Yeah.
Because when the cassowary goes, there'll be a number of plants that will then just disappear, because as you say, it's only the cassowary's gut and digestive system that can process this seed, removing this very hard
shell,
almost insoluble outer layer.
Yeah.
And then stimulating the seed within.
Yeah.
The seed pops out the other end, lands in a lovely pile of fertilizer.
Yeah, it does.
Thus a new plant will grow.
Yeah.
But without the cassowary, that'll all stop. So you could be losing great swathes off the beautiful rainforests over there.
Yeah.
And then the knock-on effect of that, the loss of that plant, animals will then no longer have their own natural habitat.
Exactly. It's a snowball effect. It just keeps on going.
Yeah, exactly. So apparently there is a thing called beaver bombing,
Beaver bombing.
And that
sounds like a huge amount of fun.
So guerrilla gardening is where you see a patch of grass. Yeah, and you just in the public domain.
Yeah.
And no one's doing anything.
No.
The council aren't looking after it. And so you go and plant some amazing things. So that's your guerrilla gardening.
What I'm going to be doing next year, a whole lot of.
This is almost the sort of animal equivalent of that. So people have been beaver bombing. So putting beavers into rivers around the place and hoping that they survive. But also,
really,
there was an illegal release of 3 lynx up in Scotland only earlier this year.
Lynx?
Yeah. And basically because they're a keystone species.
Oh,
and
really?
so activists are trying to bring them back. So the thought behind it is
we're trying to do,
trying to do good, but it needs to be done in a lot more controlled way.
Yeah, it's quite interesting because you think, I'm just really trying to do good for the environment, trying to reinstate the species and trying to do something really good for the environment to therefore get more plants or whatever it is that these certain animals do for the environment and nature around them. But one has to really think about the consequences and the knock-on effect of it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like if we went and just reintroduced the straight-tusked elephant that Martin Dawn said he wanted back.
Yeah.
That used to be naturally living in the British Isles. Imagine if you just reintroduced that without any concern.
Fly!
Fly, my babies.
And all these elephants are just like, but this is just rainy and cold and miserable.
My straight tusks don't work in this environment. What do you expect me to do?
What?
Now, this is my animal fun fact, which I know normally we do your plant fun fact.
Yeah, well, I'd like to hear yours
This
first.
is slightly relevant to some of the things we've talked about.
Oh, yeah?
Have you heard of the Great Emu War?
Emu War. Now, that is one has to put in history books.
Well, it is. And it is the bizarre history of when Australia went to war with the local emu population. After World War I, more than 5,000 soldier settlers moved to Australia. This was after the government offered incentives to develop the land over there.
Interesting. Oh, yes.
And because they did develop the land, and also at the same time there was a massive drought, so food was scarce.
Yeah.
Thousands of emus obviously were attracted to this developed land where beautiful crops were growing.
Oh, gorgeous, darling, gorgeous.
So they obviously wanted to eat those yummy crops.
Yeah.
And they also, whilst going about that, were clumsily knocking down all the fences that were keeping out sort of smaller pests, like rabbits and so on.
Yeah.
So it was causing complete and utter carnage for the Aussies.
Oh, no.
So they dispatched soldiers armed with machine guns to eliminate more than 20,000 emus. It sounds like a cartoon. What a brutal way of culling a species. And they thought that it would just be a short and sweet process, but this campaign descended into total chaos. So various things happened, like trucks overturning because they were chasing these emus that run at 55 miles per hour, and the trucks were trying to chase them with someone pointing a gun out the window, and then they were steering off the tracks and overturning. All sorts of carnage happened. In the first 3 days, they only killed 30 birds. And after 45 days of starting this campaign, they'd only managed to kill 2,500 birds, which that sounds a lot.
Yeah,
but when they were planning to get rid of 20,000 of these things.
Oh,
and
crikey.
It was at this point that there was a general call for a more humane solution.
Well, yeah, or obviously having machine guns is a bit
just awful,
drastic. It's funny for some unknown reason just seeing
it's comical, isn't
men in trucks with machine guns chasing birds,
big flightless birds.
It seems just slightly crazy, but at the same time I think it's absolutely awful and the most inhumane way of doing something like that.
Yeah, of course. So the emus did emerge victorious.
Well done.
Hurrah.
Yeah.
So that was the Great Emu War.
Very interesting. I really loved that. Yeah. That was a great fact.
Well, Sweet Pea, what's your plant fun fact?
Plant fun fact is actually all about Tromsø's Arctic Alpine Botanic Garden.
Right.
Which is quite incredible, actually. It's in Norway.
Is this from your same book?
Yes, in my good old Horticurious book.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in Norway, and it was this botanic garden was opened in 1994. And it's open 24/7, so you can go anytime you want.
Wow.
There are no gates, there are no fees. You can just go. And it is the most northern botanic garden because it actually is inside the Arctic Circle. So it's really far up north. It's quite amazing. And
so you could go the middle of the night and it would be daylight in the summer.
Yeah.
Have a look round.
And they also say do go in December when it's just completely pitch black, because you get the backdrop of the Northern Lights to all these beautiful alpine plants in this botanical garden.
Gosh, how interesting.
And they say also to bring your skis, because you can ski round the botanical garden.
Cross-country skiing.
Cross-country skiing, incredible. Normal skiing, sledging.
And can you imagine what unusual plants you'd get there compared to a mountain here? Because you've got the different, so summer you have daylight 24/7 and winter you can have dark 24/7.
Yeah, exactly. Well, one plant which they do say to look out for is this Mechanopsis simplicifolia.
Oh.
And it's a really beautiful, deep, purpley blue colour to it. It's rather beautiful. I've just got a little illustration of it above, and I think that's one to look out for. But the thing that really drew me to this fun fact was the fact that you get to go on skis.
You get to
in
go
a botanical garden. How fun would that be?
But also you don't have to pay.
No, I mean obviously that's always great. But
you can go any time of day.
Yeah. But I was just imagining skiing, the huge northern lights above as the backdrop, this kind of emerald greens, purples and blues.
Wow.
And then seeing these beautiful alpine plants as you ski past.
Yeah.
I mean, how cool is that?
You'd want to ski past very slowly.
Very slowly.
So you'd be doing a lot of turns, or you would just go pizza slice all the way down.
Oof, that's going to be very difficult for the thighs.
Lovely. Well, we'll have to look that one up. Maybe we could visit it one day.
Wouldn't that be fun? Yes.
That would be a nice thing to do.
That would be fun.
I think there's things like that we need to put in the calendar, Sweet Pea, especially with you going away.
Yeah.
So little sort of exciting milestones to look forward to.
Yeah, I think that's something we should do as like a Christmas celebration.
That would be amazing.
How fun wouldn't that be?
We'll look into that.
I think we should. I think we seriously should.
Well, thank you for bringing that up, Sweet Pea. I had no idea about it until then.
Well, thank you, book, for showing me this, because I am learning so much.
Right then, well, we've got a Gardener's World episode to have a look at.
We have.
Shall we get stuck in?
Absolutely.
So this is Gardener's World 2025, episode 21 recap.
Off we go.
Now, Sweet Pea, before we get on to Monty dealing with his Chevy Chase rose, did you spot that beautiful orange dahlia in the opening shot?
Yes.
It was really stunning.
It was quite amazing. I don't know if it reminded you of like an orange octopus or something like that. It just kind of had all these kind of spiky bits coming out in all different directions.
Well, it was a cactus dahlia, wasn't
it? It looked like a cactus dahlia, but for some reason it looked like half of the petals had been taken out.
Oh,
really? It looked like there were only
a
few petals.
Okay.
Whereas a cactus can be like kind of full.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, I thought that would be right up your
Oh my God, I loved it. Yes.
So then we go on to Monty. We are back at Longmeadow and he is cutting back the Rambler, Chevy Chase.
Yeah, the Chevy Chase, really pretty one, deadheading.
Yeah, and as he always explains, Ramblers flower on old growth, so the new shoots don't bear any flowers.
Yeah.
So he's deadheading them and then wrapping some of those new shoots around structures.
Yeah, exactly, to make sure that they don't kind of snap off in a winter wind.
Then he potters over to the cottage garden.
Yes.
He's cutting back some bits and pieces, and isn't he? Anything that's gone brown and ugly.
Yeah, exactly. So, for example, there was an agastache which wasn't looking particularly pretty. He said, obviously, the ones which nice seed heads. There was a nice allium shot, I think. There's a really big allium ball of
gorgeous,
seed heads.
Aren't they? They're seed heads.
And then just adding in the Nicotiana.
Yeah, had some gaps to fill.
Yeah, Sylvestris, I think, was the variety.
Woodland tobacco plant.
Yep. Really
good for attracting moths, he said.
Yes.
Of their scent.
Really great.
And it's nice to see, isn't it?
Nice long tubes as well of white flowers, so reflects in the dark. It's a perfect plant.
Course. And did you see how perfectly clean his gardening tools were?
Very nice and clean.
Look like they're brand new.
I know. He's always washing them and always cleaning them at the end of the season, which we just kind of go,
deal with that another time.
Deal with that another time.
But I imagine he's got a tool cleaner.
Yeah, I imagine.
If you can hear that panting, it's because it's quite warm in here and Hobbs has got lots to say about it.
Yes.
So we apologise.
For the panting in the background.
It's not us.
Yeah.
And then he's also popping in some Cosmos.
Yeah, which was just a kind of mixed variety that he had bought.
Under the rose. And because it's quite late in the season, they're not growing so tall.
Yeah.
So you can stick them under there.
Exactly. Perfecto.
And also it was interesting that he said that they respond to warmth as long as it stays above 5 degrees, you're still going to have flowers, and that he's seen Cosmos in his garden flowering into, well, at Christmas.
Yeah.
It's incredible, isn't it?
That is incredible. I didn't know that whatsoever. Mine usually just kind of go over, even though I'm trying to kind of deadhead them constantly. They just kind of go over, say, autumn time.
But maybe we need to plant some in later in the season.
Oh,
and they'll keep
yes. Probably.
Then we head over to Nottingham.
Yes.
2 miles from the city centre. This is with the wonderful Joe Swift. And this is Bagthorpe Gardens, the 200-year-old allotments.
Which apparently very hard to find.
Very hard to find. Also, I found out even harder to find because they mustn't be confused with Bagthorpe allotments, which are also in the vicinity.
Oh.
But aren't these ones, which are Bagthorpe Gardens.
Oh, crikey. I was just thinking to myself, you know, when we have to go to places and it's just very difficult to find exactly the address because Google Maps won't allow you to go exactly there. They'll kind of put a pinpoint randomly in the
somewhere
village
around.
that's next to it. And so we're like, where do you think we're going? Oh my gosh, they said down the road on the right, then through the field and over the cow
or
no. Whatever.
Is that going to be how you drive?
I have no idea. But I just thought to myself, I wonder if Joe Swift and the team were finding it really hard to park and find... to figure out where this place was so they could park up and find the gate.
Worried about the parking.
Yeah.
It's always important, though.
Always
taking
important.
All your kit to the allotments.
Exactly.
37 of the original 65 plots remain.
Yeah.
And there's the beautiful drone shots of them, and they just look amazing, don't they?
Know.
And then we meet Paul Saxton, who's the founder. He set up the charity, the Bagthorpe Gardeners, 28 years ago. And you hear a bit about his background. He was a painter decorator.
Yeah.
He had a young family, 2 daughters.
Not into gardening whatsoever.
Not at all.
No.
And then a client asked him to dig up her potatoes.
Which seems quite interesting.
And he loved it. He was bitten by some kind of a bug at that point.
That is the perfect thing to do because it is like a little treasure hunt.
But he talks about the history of the allotments. He says that before the Industrial Revolution, most people lived in the countryside. And then with the sort of changes of the Industrial Revolution, there was the Enclosures Act, which meant people couldn't use anymore the common land like they used to.
Yes.
And there were new mills opening with new machinery, so the whole way of life changed for people, and they had to move into mill towns.
Yeah.
And they would move into, as he described, very substandard houses, back-to-back houses, poor sanitation, very, very little land. Then there was a big trade slump in the 1830s into the 1840s, known as the Hungry Forties. So the leader of the newly formed Labourers' Friends Society workers had everyone's welfare at heart, and he looked into setting up allotments.
Yeah.
So he had the idea of 1/4 of an acre per plot with a little hut.
Yes.
And it was intended to see a family through, you know, that hunger period, through any sort of shortage of work and therefore wages, for about 13 weeks of the year.
It's quite amazing. And you talked about the drone shots at the beginning, which are absolutely stunning and gave you a good idea of what the layout was, because I think otherwise you would have just thought it's a normal allotment layout. But when Joe was going down this kind of long alleyway of beautiful hedges and then looking into these little gates, all these different allotments, it reminded me a bit of Monty's garden, where he's got kind of sections and areas,
different rooms,
and that it was pretty much exactly the same with all these different allotments, different rooms, people doing different things in them.
Oh, it was just beautiful, wasn't it? It was a magical secret garden out the back. But I love that idea that it took one person to say, right, this is what we need to do for everyone.
Yeah.
And really radically changed the standard of living for a lot of people by setting up these allotments.
Yeah.
And those huts are still standing, many of them, because Joe then goes to talk to Roger about his bothy.
Yes.
And do you remember Nigel? We had a good old chit-chat with Nigel.
Oh my gosh, yes, of course.
How can you forget
him?
Nigel?
Yeah.
And he has just been building his own woodman's bothy. That was his latest construction.
That was the latest one?
That's the one I put the photos of on our Instagram page.
Oh, yes, of course.
And Roger explains how when he first came here, there was this ruin, basically, and he's got a builder friend who was retired, so they set about setting it up, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. But I didn't know that actually people would sleep in them. So they would come for a few days to work on their allotment.
I didn't think...
And stay over.
Quite amazing, isn't it? It sounds really lovely. You can imagine working in the week. It's like, okay, you're going to do this. And then the weekend, go down to the allotment.
Really nice.
Just stay there. Can you imagine waking up to bird song?
Yeah.
And the kind of dew, maybe
if
a
you
bit of
are
frost.
in the town, getting away to the countryside like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Really blissful.
Sounded... And I mean, he did a lovely job, Roger, of his
incredible, didn't
little
it?
bothy.
Yeah.
How gorgeous was it?
Really gorgeous. And we also meet Anne, and she has her bounty of food, lots of beans. And she's had her plot for 20 years.
Yes.
She loves the community.
Yeah.
And also the birds, specifically the robin,
who
comes to see her.
Of course.
And it just looks so idyllic. It was really lovely to see.
Yeah, robins are a gardener's favourite bird,
are,
aren't they? They're always just there
always
by your
around.
side.
Inquisitive.
They're very inquisitive. They're one of the friendliest. They're just like, hello.
Yeah. And also Jo meets Val, and she has a pond.
Yes.
And lots of blueberries.
Lots of
the two things.
Yeah, pond and blueberries was what I wrote down.
Yeah.
And then she was trying out some new things like cauliflower she hadn't done before.
Yeah.
And she had lots of ornamentals mixed with edibles, so it was nice, the two together. And obviously the pond looked like it was absolutely thriving. Yeah, there was a lot going on, and she explained it's a legacy from her mum, who sadly passed away in December, and used to love getting videos and photos of the allotment. So that was a rather lovely touch. Really lovely touch.
Well, as I say, these are called the Bagthorpe Gardens, not the Bagthorpe allotments.
Yes, very important to not mix the two up.
No, otherwise you're heading completely the wrong way. And you can actually visit them. So they are open. They have some open days. The next coming events are Heritage Open Day. That's on Sunday the 14th of September.
Cool.
And then there's Apple Pressing Day, Sunday the 5th of October.
Nice.
And they will be providing cakes. There'll be some stalls, all sorts. I see your little eyes light up there. So if you want to see them firsthand, you can actually go visit.
Great stuff.
Back with Monty, and there's a great shot of the back end of a froggy.
I know, jumping into what looked like a yew hedge or something.
Could have been, yeah.
I was like, what's the frog doing in the hedge? It's very peculiar.
And then Monty's planting out some rosemary bushes.
Yeah.
So they thrive in poor soil.
Good
really drainage important.
Gritty, and he kind of picked up this what looked like just sawdust.
Yeah.
It was really kind of poor, and you can see how dry it was. And the rosemary bushes he had taken from cuttings previous year, so they were looking really big and very good.
Plant them high,
exactly.
rather than in a little basin.
Yeah, which is what you do with courgettes. I think usually they like a little basin, so all the water and feed can go into the middle.
And you want the absolute opposite with rosemary.
Exactly. And then he was taking sage cuttings, which is the best time of year to do them. So he was taking those in a plastic bag, putting them in a pot of perlite.
Yeah.
And then just shoving them in the corners.
And a slightly different scene. He wasn't in his potting shed. He was on the bench. And then Ned comes and sits next to him.
I know.
Just made himself comfy. Monty even had to kind of lean past him to talk to the camera.
Yeah, like, sorry, Ned, gonna have to get past. That's like Hobbs. Hobbs sometimes just right there.
But I love how Monty doesn't break his stride. As far as he's concerned, that's all just normal.
Very normal to have
Ned
a dog.
is fully involved.
And the camera crew must just be like, okay, this is just Ned. Ned's here.
And then we go to Sheffield to meet the wonderful Gokul Asokan,
landscape
architect. And he doesn't have his own garden, but that has not stopped him at all whatsoever. He's originally from Tamil Nadu, the southernmost state of India.
Yes.
And he came to the UK to do his masters and work as a landscape architect. And he shows us around all his little areas that he's managed to take control of.
Guerrilla planting. Exactly.
Not just in his apartment, but also out and about.
Yeah, because I thought at the beginning when he was in his apartment, I was like, oh, he's going to do purely stuff in and around his apartment, and that would be very interesting to see. And then next thing, he's out in the kind of bit, the entrance to the doorway.
Entrance, one of his flatmates walks past.
Like, hello, mate. All right, how are you? And then down by the bins were, used to be.
He said there used to be sort of quite unsavoury activity down there, and he's now commandeered that. And it looks absolutely beautiful.
No weeds in sight. Really nice.
I loved his attitude towards it all, just a really positive attitude.
Yes.
And when he was in his apartment, what I liked about his indoor plants was it wasn't like indoor plants. It was like a garden wrapped around that window, for example.
It was.
All sorts of different things, even a hosta in there.
A little mini hosta in there. There was an oxalis sunset, also called a wood sorrel. It's trifoliate, 3 leaves, and it has beautiful, it goes a really kind of orangey yellow, like a sunset, the leaves do, which is rather lovely. It's also called a botanical world traveller.
Oh, right.
Because it can survive in many, many different habitats. So it can go to be in tropical rainforests or in mountain meadows, and then also it's just a great indoor plant. It's one of the best.
Oh, right.
So he said that he had propagated it, friends had loved it, he had spread across him and his friends and family.
Did you make a list of all of Gokul's plants ready for your apartment?
I've got it all here down in my notebook, so I will be looking at this because I thought this is absolutely perfect. It happens to be the week before I'm going off to uni.
Yeah.
And so I'm now ready to get a whole load of plants from if there's a plant nursery nearby.
Well, we've actually Google Earthed it and we've established where the nearest garden centre is, so that's our first stop, isn't it?
I would say that was the first thing that we did was, right, where's the nearest plant nursery?
There is actually one really close within walking distance of where you are.
There's like a commercial centre next door and then all of these kind of shops dotted around. There's a garden centre.
A big garden centre.
Really big garden centre.
Perfect.
So I'm going to be having a lot of fun. I think also we're going to be going to IKEA.
Oh, well, IKEA is just a given, isn't it?
It is a given because
a few things to get.
They have palmy plants and they always look good.
Oh, that's true. Their parlour plants would be nice.
Yeah. So I think that's nice. But also you were saying how it's nice having different, not kind of just in house plants, your bog standard.
Like we have. So we have peace lilies, parlour plants,
spider plants,
cheese plants and spider plants.
Yeah.
Really, that's
exactly.
We try a couple of others. Oh, we've got one orchid that I'm doing surprisingly well with actually this year.
Yeah, you are doing really, really well.
First one I haven't killed off.
Fantastic. Brilliant.
So far, touch wood.
Yeah. But I mean, and it's nice having those kind of plants.
Yeah.
But I think if you were to pack a room too full of them, it would be like, okay, these are just
bit samey for you.
Bit samey. But I liked how it was packed on the windowsills and in certain areas, but not too packed. So it was like, oh my gosh, this is just like a rainforest and very humid, you can imagine, or something like that. But it was nicely spaced out.
Yeah,
and in areas.
But equally, he did group them together to create the little microclimates, didn't he?
That was a really good point. So that's a top tip, a top tip that I'll be taking away, because grouping the plants to make sure they kind of feel like they're in a little
community,
environment community,
and it increases the humidity a bit.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll be doing that.
And Gokul talks about how he's been interested in gardening since he was 5.
Yeah.
And he and his older brother are the first generation to go to university.
Yeah.
And how his parents were worried about his interest in plants because they thought it would divert him away from his studies and his career goals, really.
Yeah, which is quite amazing and shows you what the kind of view of gardening can be like if you're not educated on what there is in gardening, how there are amazing jobs which you can have.
Well, it's
gardening.
You don't know what you don't know, and so he opened their eyes up to the world of gardening and horticulture and career opportunities within that. Yeah, and so they're all for it.
Yeah, I think that's important for a lot of people because we've talked to so many on our chit chats, and they said how it just wasn't, and now it's slightly changing, but especially back then the idea of having gardening as a job, as a career, was not a view. So teachers would be like, go down this route or this route.
It just wasn't encouraged, was it? Other options were encouraged.
Yeah, and even now it's only just... I personally never heard about it until we just started watching Gardener's World and then started thinking about it. So
it's interesting, yeah. Well, hopefully it's continuing to evolve and hopefully it's becoming more and more mainstream to have that as an option at school. But Gokul talks about how he appreciates all the green spaces that he has around him in Sheffield. He says about how it helps to purify the air and reduce, as we know, the rise in temperature.
They did the good old camera shots of going around smelling different flowers.
And how it also helps with the drainage system. And he said there just isn't much of that in India, and how it is important.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's going to have an influence when he's finished all his studies. And he's got this as a full-time career. If he will have any influence back in India to maybe make some interesting changes.
Be really, really cool, because there's the whole thing of you can do it in big cities, in huge skyscrapers. You can have vertical green gardens going up the side.
Well, and as we heard in New Mexico, they were greenifying all the massive pillars that were holding up the freeways.
Yes, oh my gosh, exactly. So I would love to hear if that happens.
I think he's one to watch for sure. But he then goes to his container garden at the back. That was kind of on that stairway where his student mate walks past with his rucksack and off to lectures probably. And he has got a lot of roses there, really pretty ones.
Ones that I've never seen before. And I've never seen these shades of roses. It's so beautiful.
And great condition as well, weren't they?
Yeah, great condition. So there was a rose called Gokul, and this was the pale purple one, kind of pale violet tones. Really gorgeous. I've never seen a rose in pale violet before. So I loved that one. That was absolute favourite. And then there was a rose hot chocolate, which I would call a burnt pink, colour. Yeah. Really gorgeous as well.
Yeah, they're just stunning. And then he talks about that space downstairs where the bins were.
Yeah.
And he's got a sort of grey-black wall, which is a great backdrop.
I know.
For then putting together some plant combinations.
I wonder if it had always been black, or if he just, in the dead of night,
whipped out a paintbrush and sorted that wall out as well.
I don't know how well you'd be able to paint black in the dark. Sure. Why not? So I do wonder if he just went, okay, I'm going to paint it black. Perfect background. So yeah, he had Persicaria Purple Fantasy, that nice arrowhead and the purple strip in it, the spotty podophyllum, bananas, strawberry plants. So quite a mixture of different plants, tropicals, more standard plants.
And that banana plant was a clearance sale for £1.
Yeah, exactly, which is always a good bargain.
And then he arranged them together and it just looked really pretty, didn't it? Everything just went really well together.
You can imagine the people in the other flats or whatever.
God, you'd be so grateful to have someone like that.
I know. And you can imagine they just walk down and like, oh, this is lovely, might just sit here.
And then he talks about his love of propagating his own plants, and he's got that plastic container which he uses as his mini greenhouse.
You need a plastic container.
You need a plastic container.
One of those big tubs, a nice little one that can seal up, nice and humid. Open it up, keeps nice and warm.
And he shows his rose cuttings.
Yeah.
One from last year, which was looking really good.
Yeah. And also a salvia hot lips, which was growing roots and also looking very good.
And at the end, he said he's really followed his passion and he's so proud about it. And absolutely, he should be.
He should be so proud about it. And I'm going to take so many tips from this section. It was so informative.
So informative and so relevant to you as well at this particular time. It was as if it was meant to be that his segment came on.
I would say that Gardener's World placed it perfectly at this time of year when so many will be going off to uni thinking, how can I have a bit of kind of happy green space in my apartment or whatever.
My gardenless space.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, you should also keep an eye on him on Instagram, social media, because he's regularly updating it.
Great.
And I just wanted to read a little bio that he wrote. He says, I'm 26, I'm an architect, landscape architect and artist. And then if you have a look on his page, he's got a lot of his artwork, does a lot of sort of ink drawings.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
I'm a Tamilian living in the UK with my pets and plants.
Nice.
I took a life-changing decision when I lost my job due to the COVID pandemic.
Oh, no.
I moved to the UK to do my master's degree at the University of Greenwich. It was hard to leave my family for the first time and my passionate garden, which was my coping mechanism and gave me an identity in life. I worked my fingers to bone to save as much money as I could from my part-time job to finish my master's, aiming to get placed in my own profession. With all my hard work, I got placed in a professional job before even my completion of the course and successfully passed in merit. I'm a naturalist and my ultimate goal in life is to have my own home and lead a simple cottage life with farm animals.
That sounds amazing.
I love his ambitions. And there's one post on his page which, if you believe in manifestation, this one is absolutely for you, because back in October 2024, Gokul put on his page a post with an ink drawing of the Gardener's World magazine, and he's on the front cover of it, and he's signed it for someone.
Oh my gosh!
And the caption reads, "Manifesting wishes, one day I will."
Oh my gosh, that's brilliant.
Isn't that amazing?
Absolutely love that.
I think Gokul would be someone very interesting to chat more to. I'd love to hear so much more about his life and what he's up to.
That would be a really lovely one, and I can get more tips on apartment plants.
We take a moment to reflect with Monty in the Paradise Garden.
Yeah.
Very chilled moment.
Very chilled moment. I like that moment. And it's a moment that I do. I think you do as well. When you're just sitting there, you don't need to talk. I mean, obviously Monty was talking to the camera, but...
And then we're off to the veg patch and the greenhouse, and we're talking tomatoes.
We sure are. So he went to his indoor tomatoes, which are in the beautiful greenhouses. He had the sun gold, really beautiful cherry tomato in orangey colours, and also tomato black crim. He was also harvesting some other ones which I couldn't identify. And then went outside to his tomatoes, he had Gardener's Delight, which was slightly later obviously because it's not so warm outside, but still just as good. And so he had some of those.
And he also picked some of these beautiful red ridged ones, but didn't identify them.
Yeah, the little red ridged ones.
Sort of about that size, not
that which looked like miniature beefsteaks or something like that.
Yes, oh, maybe that's what they were. But they were very, very ridged.
They were really ridged, weren't they?
And then we go to Carol Klein's garden.
Yes.
Wasn't this segment just a massive bundle of joy and colour and happiness?
Absolutely brilliant. There was something about this which was just oomph personified.
It was infectious, wasn't it?
It was infectious. Oomph personified. And so she was obviously, this is her late summer borders, talking about the colour in late summer, which is one of the most beautiful colours, and I think you can do a huge amount in late summer. So she was showing different areas. She had a white garden, which was really nice. She had flat top asters, cosmos, white phlox, Wallach milk parsley in there, all whites. And then bang, she went to this zingy garden where it was like that. It was like, whoa. And even Carol was just surprised. She was like,
she surprised herself.
Yeah, she did. She looked kind of like, yes, now this is the zingy garden. And that was
incredible, wasn't it?
Yeah, full of crocosmia.
Those orange crocosmia, gorgeous.
Yeah, which I really like compared to the more reddy toned
me too.
ones.
I thought I liked the red toned ones.
Yeah, I did as well.
Which I do like, but
obviously.
Now I've seen these orange ones. I want the orange ones.
I prefer the orange ones.
Do you?
Far prefer the orange ones. There's something about them. And also there's something about them with then a geranium roseanne.
Yeah.
A purple, which works even better than the darker tone of orange. I would say that the lighter tone lifts the purple more.
Yeah.
And it works very, very well.
And it's a sterile hybrid, so it doesn't set seed. It just keeps on flowering and flowering. It's got no need to set seed. Poor thing.
She's got a lot of sterile hybrids. I would say she's a big advocate for...
I can see a benefit in it.
Yeah, I can see it. And then the pièce de la résistance. She was creating this huge bed pot. I don't know what you'd call it. It looked like an extended bathtub. Didn't it to you? It was huge.
Massive. You'd sink into it. You wouldn't be able to sleep in that. You'd just slide under. You wouldn't have the end to stop with your feet.
Oh, that's a good point.
A trough, I would call it.
Yeah, just a huge trough. Oh, and this was me. I'm sure it was other people, but I'm going to say me personified, being very selfish. The purple and the orange, I was just in absolute heaven.
Yeah.
There were the plants, and she was really... You know, in Bridget Jones, Bridget's mum is always going on about how Bridget needs to get her colours done. And so she then goes to a colour specialist, and she's like, I think you're spring, darling. I really think you're spring. It felt like this with Carol. Carol was putting plants next to each other going, now this lifts, but it doesn't quite work.
That's so true. It's like those colour things. I remember that was always recommended when I was working in a business environment.
Yeah.
And women, specifically women, were encouraged to go and get their colours done.
Why can't
to check whether they were summer, winter, autumn or spring.
Yes.
So that we knew how to dress in our power suits when we walked around the office, so that we could command a bit of respect. Purely through our colours.
Purely through your colours, darling. It was quite funny, but that's what it reminded me of. It was exactly the same.
Yeah.
And so there were lots of different ones. So there was an Actea, also called bane berries, because bane means death and the berries are toxic, so do not eat the berries.
Tall spires, weren't they?
Very tall spires. And the berries can be rather pretty. They can be kind of white. So when you've got a tall spire of dark purple and then white berries, it's quite an effect on it. There was the Salvia caradonna, that one, of course, everyone loves. Heleniums, which she said, like copper doorknobs.
Yeah.
Perfect, I loved that. And a short variety, so they don't get all kind of leggy. Then there was a Pennisetum rubrum, nice featheriness. Wafty, the stalwart selenium that we saw earlier with a nice purple stem. And a Astrantia roma, which was a dusky pink.
Yeah.
And so that lifted certain other tones.
Which I wouldn't have thought of putting in with those strong colours.
But you needed the background of it, didn't you?
The final trough was stunning, both in shape and in colour.
In colour, there were different textures to it, heights. It was a nice zigzag.
Yeah.
I really, really, really liked it. But she was then doing checking her colours.
Yeah.
With the Nymphophea next to the dahlia, for example, which had the beautiful orange centre.
That Nymphophia, so I'd gone off Nymphophia because of ours looking just absolutely awful, and I think one of them was a mutant.
Yes,
and
like that daisy that we showed.
Yeah, they're horrific looking, and they're really massive, and they look
quite
violent.
Brutish.
Yeah, brutish. Whereas hers had there was more of a delicate feel to them. So I'm glad I saw them, because I had gone completely off the Red Hot Pokers, but now I've seen that.
I agree.
I'm all for it again.
Yeah, and once again it was a light orange, a kind of yellowy light orange, not the kind of dark ones. I would say I'm such an orange fan.
Well, I think we've gathered that, Sweet Pea.
Yeah, bar Donald Trump, I'm an orange fan.
And Carol is as well. You know, she says about loving purple and orange together, which is what we always say. I think Nick also says it, doesn't he? And at the end, Carol's sitting there looking very pleased with herself and looking completely dwarfed by this enormous trough.
Yes.
You really got to see the full extent of it at the end when she's sitting there perched at the end.
It was a very, very nice view, and I was just imagining, I'd love to have a long border filled with those colours all the way along.
Can you imagine that? Are you?
That's my dream.
Getting plans for one of our borders?
Yeah,
that would be quite nice under the sunset terrace, because the sunset terrace is too hot to sit on in the summer, and these are late season perennials, aren't they?
Lovely.
Couldn't that be nice? Shall we rip all of that out and start again?
Yes. Well, it does need a revamp because it kind of went crazy.
But we have already got the Rosanne in. We've got the darker Crocosmia, but we've got those.
Yeah.
We've got the purples of the Agapanthus, although that is an earlier flower.
That is an early flower.
But you can still have the sea heads by then.
Yeah, exactly. So that's fine. And then I can just add in some Caradonnas, maybe a dahlia or two with the pink. I'd like some astrantias, because astrantias go everywhere.
I want a shopping list of everything Carol had in that trough, and we recreate it in that bed.
Should that be our Christmas present? Is do that, and then plant it up. Obviously not in Christmas time, you want it more springtime. Plant it up, and have that for next summer. That would be quite fun.
For the end of next summer.
End of next summer, sorry. Yeah.
I think we should go for that.
I think so.
Well, one last thing about Carol.
Oh, yeah.
She was on Desert Island Discs last month.
What on earth is that?
It's a BBC Radio 4 programme.
Oh, yeah.
And it's with Lauren Laverne, I think, now. And basically you're allowed to bring certain items to your desert island. So it includes things like which one piece of music would you bring? Things like that.
Gosh, brilliant.
I think there's luxury item. So there's a few things like that. So Carol has actually been on it, and obviously it's been and gone now because it was last month, but you can of course catch it on iPlayer. So I'll put a link to that on our website.
Oh, brilliant. I'd love to know what she would take to a desert island.
Monty's up his fig tree.
Yeah.
Ours aren't ready. How are his so far ahead?
I know. Ours are nowhere near ready.
No.
They're like teeny, teeny little things.
We'll have to move the car when they start coming, though, because that's going to be pretty nasty.
I think also, unfortunately, the birds and the blackbirds get to them just before us.
I'm pretty quick. I'm out there.
Yeah, you're quite speedy,
like
actually.
A rat up a drain pipe with my figs. Nice with some cheese.
Really nice with cheese.
Anyway.
Yes. He had the brown turkey variety.
He did, yeah. He was potting that up, wasn't he? He was using a barky-based compost.
Yeah.
Peat-free ovs.
Because they're good pot plants, actually. Yeah. This one especially because it's abundant with produce as well.
And you need it to be free draining, so he puts in grit and some sift compost.
Yes.
And then we go over to Pippa Chapman, Bradford Way. Mm-hmm. Monty's mentioned it twice, once in the intro and once introducing this segment. Yeah. This year's UK City of Culture.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to make that point clear.
Very interesting point.
But Pippa Chapman has a permaculture garden.
Yes, a lot of peas in there.
And she explains how permaculture is about gardening in tune with nature. And then she mentions food forests and forest gardening, which is a subset of that. And that's all about layers, wild but carefully selected plants, taking into account biodiversity and trying to help wildlife really thrive in your food growing space.
Yeah, exactly. Have different foods for yourself and for wildlife. So certain plants for caterpillars to feed off, also pollinators to have for the flowers, and obviously for yourself.
Yeah, and she says it's about looking at how nature grows and kind of creating communities of plants, which is, of course, what Gokul was doing in his apartment.
Exactly.
And she makes a point of how satisfying it is to grow your own food and know that it grew just a few metres away from your kitchen, which, of course, we say that, don't we, all the time?
We really, really enjoy that. I mean, the salad that you made the other day, you whipped it up in no time at all, and which meant that all the flavours, all the goodness that you'd literally just put in the salad bowl. You barely need to wash it when it's homegrown because you know what you're
you know what your own dirt's like.
Exactly. But also certain dirt is good for you.
Of course.
If it's not full of insecticides or whatever, bacteria.
Or worm eggs.
Yeah, I mean, we can go as disgusting as we want, but like it's good. Like sometimes you can just have a carrot, just brush off some of the dirt and
chomp on it. But the other important thing about being able to get food from your garden and onto the plate really quickly is the minute you cut any of your food, it starts losing its nutrition, its nutritional value. Yeah. So you get maximum nutritional value on your plate if you can get it from the garden, put it on your plate and eat it really quickly.
Exactly. And that is why you did say to me that actually getting frozen veg is actually better than fresh veg.
Old fresh veg,
yeah.
Fresh veg that's been sitting there for ages in the supermarket, for example. But obviously if it's fresh veg from your garden.
Exactly, then it's obviously whatever you're growing in your garden is going to be much better than anything else.
For sure.
Which is why, you gave me such a funny look when I said this to you the other day, was growing the beans at home vertically up.
Oh, well, the point being that you want to grow the beans in your apartment. When we're talking about plants for you to have, I was thinking all these beautiful plants, which beans are beautiful, but I'm imagining you're going to grow those up some string attached to your ceiling.
Yes.
And I'm going to come over and it's just going to be flopping all over the place.
But it's going to be gorgeous. They're such a nice plant to have.
Yeah.
Especially the purple ones with the beautiful purple stem.
And the purple flowers.
And the purple
purple beans.
Oh, that's a good point. Pollination.
You're going to have to keep your windows open, Sweet Pea.
Poor bumblebees are going to be like, this is so hard to get up here.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to do the pollinating yourself.
I'm doomed. I didn't think of that. Only just thought of that now.
Speak to Gokul and find out how he's doing it.
Speak to him. So back to the permaculture, all about having different plants together. She said it doesn't have to look like a mess.
No.
Which many people, when they think of permaculture, think of just a mess and just letting plants kind of go absolutely mad. Like when you've gone away on holiday and come back to your garden, it's just like, we've done stuff.
You're speaking with experience there, aren't you, Sweet Pea?
Yeah.
But she said not being too tidy either. Be more relaxed and just make it a safe place for wildlife to come in.
Yeah, exactly. So, for example, she had Welsh onions with a juga growing around the base. So that was a nice little symbiotic relationship between the two. Mm-hmm. She had little small plum trees. I saw pears with then some geraniums, I think. There were like all sorts of different plants together.
She had a lot going on, didn't she?
It was properly getting edimentals.
Yes.
In one spot.
Very much like incredible vegetables.
Yes, exactly.
And then with the whole tidying up, she had case in point because she had left a pile of garden branches.
Yeah.
And then when she went to clear it up, she found that there were a whole load of bumblebees nesting in them. So she had to leave the pile.
Which is rather sweet and made me think, that huge pile of just kind of branches and stuff just next to the veg garden that we've just left, and there are kind of nettles growing through it, and it's quite crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, but I really like it.
I really like it as well.
Because I can imagine all the animals that are living in there.
But also when I'm out there, I can hear rustling and bits and bobs going on in there. Yeah. So I just know that that's a little haven.
It is.
It's like a proper castle.
And that was a temporary place to have it. The plan was to move it because I was going to extend the veg garden further.
Yes, which I did stop you from doing.
But we're not going to do that now because we have that haven, as you say, for all the wildlife. So that'll stay put.
It sure will.
And then Pippa's final words are that food forest is low maintenance, but it's certainly not zero maintenance. It's more about stopping plants from outcompeting each other.
Yes.
Well, Pippa has been gardening for over 30 years, and in 2007 she left her job as a head gardener on a private estate to take a year-long practical apprenticeship at RHS Harlow Carr.
Crikey.
And that's where she was introduced to forest gardening and permaculture. And then in 2010 she and her husband set up a sustainable gardening business.
Oh, okay. And that's where this came about.
Yeah, exactly. And part of that, she has her own YouTube channel, which actually she only set up a couple of months ago, but 11 videos in and she already has nearly 3,000 followers.
Wow.
And so some good videos. She has videos covering things like, for example, 6 small-scale food forests. What does a food forest actually look like?
Ooh.
Food forest design, getting started, 7 layers to a stunning edible garden.
Yes.
This one I found interesting, 3 DIY soil tests.
Oh.
And she's also an author. She's written a book, The Plant Lover's Backyard Forest Garden. So I'll put links to all of that on our website.
Oh, brilliant.
Monty talks about the challenge of mixing in edibles and ornamentals, and I'm really glad he said that, because I love the idea of permaculture.
Yeah.
And I love hearing what Pippa's doing and a lot of people who are doing going down that road.
Yeah.
For me, it is also a slight mental block, because I've always been used to having a veg plot over here and then all my ornamentals are over there.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I get where Monty's coming from, and obviously you look at his garden where he's got a very dedicated area for his veg. He's probably not going to want to tomato it in with his, I don't know, clematis obelisks.
It's a good point. And also you've got to think about, for example, my tomatoes, they need a certain type of feed, which I wouldn't feed.
This is so true.
Other plants, and especially wouldn't feed certain flowering plants, because some of them flower best with...
That's such a good point, actually. I wonder how she tackles that.
So you'd have to... I would say that it would take up far too much headspace that I don't have at the moment to think about
you certainly don't.
Which plants like the same feed at the same time.
Yeah.
And because you can imagine if you start feeding plants which thrive on very little nutrients in the soil, and you can imagine that they'd be like, oh crikey, there's all this nutrients being added because there happens to be a tomato plant next to me,
right,
and therefore
well then I guess you plant accordingly. But I wonder if by having the ornamentals in and all the other plants in, you're not needing to feed, and that's part of the point.
Yes,
because
that's a good
they're
point.
drawing up the nutrients that are needed, for example.
Yeah, and putting stuff into the soil which the tomato plant, for example, would then take up.
Yeah.
So
maybe it's partly that. But Monty is back having a look at his pelargoniums. He really loves his scented leaf ones, doesn't he? He likes going in there and giving them a good old sniff.
Yeah.
Those are all the ones he got at Gardener's World Live, of course.
He is. And finally, he was taking a cutting of the aeoniums that he had next to the scented leaf pelargoniums. The good old thing of cutting it, let it callus over, put it in a pot, nice drainage, and then wait. He said it can take 3 months, possibly. Yeah. So wait, long time for the roots to come.
Bit of patience needed.
Bit of patience.
And then we have jobs for the weekend.
Yeah.
And whoa, there was some funky, dramatic music. It was kind of a cross between the theme tune of Jaws and like that kind of winding down music you have at the end of a nightclub.
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't know because I've never been to one. But yes.
But he is sowing Asian greens, mulching tomatoes and cutting back lavender. Ours is not ready to be cut back yet.
Not at all. Bees are still going for it.
It's absolutely buzzing, isn't it?
No, I love it. It is one of my favourite things, is that bank of lavender.
It's gorgeous.
Lovely.
And then Mons is chopping up some tomatoes, a little cooking segment.
Yes.
And he's cooking them in some butter and olive oil and some thyme. And then he's got a bit of his elephant garlic. He says a little bit, we would obviously be putting in loads because we love loads. And also elephant garlic's milder, so there'd just be the whole head would go in.
The whole head of garlic, wow.
And he's making a yummy sauce. He says it only takes 10 minutes to cook. You must have loved that bit.
I loved it. I do love using homegrown produce to cook. I think that's just the best thing ever.
It really is. So, Sweet Pea, your favourite plant from this episode?
Was the Gokul rose.
Oh,
the pale violet one. Just loved it. I've never seen quite that colour before.
Yeah.
Loved it. What was yours?
Mine were Carol's Nymphophias.
Oh, yes. The really nice orangey, yellow. Perfect.
She's turned me. I'd gone off them and now I'm back wanting more.
Perfect. Well, that takes me on to my top takeaway, which is just the whole border, the trough that Carol created was the whole top takeaway, because I think it's absolutely brilliant.
I just had a daydream whilst you're talking then, imagining getting a helicopter, lifting her trough and putting it in front of our sunset terrace, placing it solidly there, because it would also create a barrier from our sunset terrace falling down the hill, because that looked like a big heavy beast.
Oh my gosh, I could just see you'd gone somewhere else, and I was like, Mummy, come back in the room.
That's the dream, Sweet Pea.
That is a very nice dream. But I do want to have a special mention to the beautiful apartment plants, having them in there.
Yes.
And obviously
Gokul's place.
Yeah, it's just very important to have plants in with you.
Well, now you've nicked mine, because mine was that.
Oh, sorry.
All the plants that he had inside. I liked how he created a little garden. It was so different to usual houseplant planting.
Yeah.
and you had a real variety in these little sort of plant communities wrapped around the window. I thought it framed the window beautifully. And I was saying about putting curtains up for your windows because they've got blinds.
Yeah.
You said, I'll stick with the blinds. I said, they're just going to be these square black boxes at night.
Yeah.
If you framed it with plants, how he did, put some supporting structures up around, that would really soften it.
It would be
I would
so
love
good.
you to do that.
I would love to do that. I also really want to get these rubber plants.
Yeah.
Which have the most amazing leaves.
Well, shall we
huge.
Talk about that offline?
Yes.
I can hear my purse taking a bit of a beating.
Yes,
right.
True.
Next week, it is episode 22. With a bank holiday weekend to look forward to, Adam Frost has a few things to be getting on with in the garden. His mini meadow needs some attention. He's got an autumn container to plant up, and in the borders there are seeds to collect.
Cool.
In West Yorkshire, prairie planting is the order of the day when a retired GP shows Francis Tophill around his stunning garden. And at Longbarn Gardens in Kent, Adderley Richmond retraces the footsteps of renowned garden designer and writer Vita Sackville-West.
Oh.
Renowned, but I've never heard of her.
No, not yet, though.
We'll get to find out next week.
Adderley will tell us all about her.
There's a chef-turned-gardener who loves nothing more than to grow a tasty array of veg, plus an inspiring visit to Suffolk, where a man has spent the last 14 years creating the garden of his dreams.
Lovely. Looking forward to it. Nice to see Adam again.
Absolutely. So, if you want to get in touch, here's how.
If you have any questions, feedback or comments, you can get in touch with us on our contact page at notjustagarden.co.uk or via our email, which is notjustagarden@outlook.com, or you can even find us on Facebook or Instagram and come visit us there and hit the follow button. And if you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world if you could post a 5-star review. It really helps our podcast climb up the pile. If you didn't enjoy it, bigger polls from us, and please don't. For more Sweet Pea and Bear content, including videos, blogs, guest garden lists, early access to episodes, podcast outtakes, which are great, and community chats, come join us on our Patreon. You can find a link on our website.
Well, there we are, Sweet Pea.
Yep, thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed it, of course.
Of course. We're now off to pack, aren't we? We need to start thinking about what we take to uni.
I really hope that my sound will be correct for the next podcast, the next recap.
Yes, and next week we're going to be doing it remotely. We're going to be on a different microphone setup.
Yes, a very different microphone setup. I will be taking my mic.
Hobbs next to you farting and sleep talking and huffing and sighing and all sorts.
It's going to be bliss. No, I can't. I love my Hobbsy so much. No. She's my baby.
I'll have it all.
You have it. But yes, so it will be very interesting to see you next week.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously I'll update on everything.
Yeah. New territory.
Something
to look forward to.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see you next week.
We sure will.
Bye-bye, Sweet Pea.
Bye, Mummy Bear.